Meet Graham Platner. He is a Senate candidate for the state of Maine. He is widely considered the Maine sweetheart version of Zoran Mamdani.
So a couple of months ago, I referred to Graham Platner as the Mamdani of Maine. But new revelations have people questioning if he's actually the next John Fetterman.
His campaign is one of many like Bernie Sanders's, where the politician learns the word oligarchy for the first time in their life and suddenly decides to run for public office. If we're being honest, calling this a democracy, let alone an oligarchy, is generous. What we're really living under is a plutocracy, a nation-state apparatus run by the rich for the rich. The entire system is engineered to protect the capitalist interests, not people.
I'm not afraid to name an enemy, and the enemy is the oligarchy.
There have been a lot of mixed reactions to his campaign, ranging from supportive to disgusted. One important detail about Graham Platner is that he did 4 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and even worked for Blackwater at one point.
And it was my 3rd deployment. My previous 2 had been to Fallujah and then Ramadi, 2006.
Platner uses this as a boast for his campaign.
A decade of military service going overseas.
Even if we're to assume Graham Platner's stance is somehow anti-imperialist, assuming he did 4 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and saw the light, Platner still aided a non-stop campaign of slaughter of Iraqis and Afghans, based on a lie told by Colin Powell, who was also infamous for his role in the My Lai massacre.
I did 4 infantry tours in the Marine Corps and the Army. I'm not afraid to name an enemy, and the enemy is the oligarchy.
The war on terror benefited no one except U.S. weapons manufacturers.
The enemy is the oligarchy.
We are not safer, we're not freer. Far too many innocent people who did not deserve to die were killed.
The enemy is the oligarchy.
And we're definitely not thrilled that Platner served 4 tours in the Marines. Graham has an SS Totenkopf tattoo.
And we went ashore in Split, Croatia, myself and a few of the other machine gun squad leaders, and we got very inebriated. And we did what Marines on Liberty do, and we decided to go get a tattoo. And we went to a tattoo parlor in Split, Croatia, and we chose a terrifying-looking skull and crossbones off the wall because we were Marines, and skulls and crossbones are a pretty standard military thing. And we got those tattoos. And then we all moved on with our lives, and I actually joined the Army after that, where I got, I had to go to MEPS, I got screened. Later on, I got a security clearance and a full screen when I went to work for the State Department as a contractor doing security for the ambassador to Afghanistan in 2018. And I've also just lived my entire life like a regular person with the skull and crossbones on their chest, which by that I mean taking my shirt off, performing Miley Cyrus songs in front of my extended family.
SS Totenkopf was a division of the Waffen SS, a paramilitary organization in Nazi Germany. This division was comprised of concentration camp guards during that era. It also took part in many of the Nazis' invasions of France and the USSR, burning villages, carrying out mass shootings, and exterminating Jews. This is barely scratching the surface, but needless to say, it's a disgusting symbol for a candidate who is promising to fight the oligarchy to have. Think of the implications of such a statement while also rocking the literal Totenkopf on his chest. The Marines are well known to harbor a lot of Nazis. The Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2022, H.R. 350, passed the House of Representatives, but did not pass the Senate. This bill would have created programs to investigate white supremacists in the military. Graham is running for the Senate, the same chamber that failed to pass this into law. We cannot trust anyone with an SS Totenkopf tattoo to be in charge of passing laws to prevent white supremacy, especially in a position of lawmaking. Platner has explained that this tattoo was a dumb move on his part.
It was not until I started hearing from reporters and DC insiders that I realized this tattoo resembled a Nazi symbol.
Platner said in a statement to Politico on Tuesday.
I absolutely would not have gone through life having this on my chest if I knew that, and to insinuate that I did is disgusting. I am already planning to get this removed.
In the same Politico report, he announced his plans to remove the tattoo. Too little, too late. I understand we all have our edgy days where we said hurtful, harmful, and dumb shit in our youth. But one thing I've never done is put a tattoo on my chest that represents the Nazi police itself. Think about how ICE is kidnapping people and throwing them into concentration camps. Think about Graham Platner's role in the war on terror, a bloodbath that killed countless innocent people because of Colin Powell's disgusting lies about so-called weapons of mass destruction. This is not a man I can trust to support progressive values. Now, I happen to know someone who not only supports Graham Platner, but also claims to know him personally. Andy O'Brien.
I made comments that I'm not happy about.
Andy is a writer on Substack and an op-ed journalist. Andy is also an avid Facebook user. Here is Andy asking the question.
I would like to do a poll of Mainers about what they think this tattoo means.
While no such poll exists, the comments are full of supporters for Graham. What I want to know is, what do you mean? What do Mainers think this tattoo means? We just went over it. It's a tattoo of the SS Totenkopf. It's a literal Nazi police symbol. What Andy is doing is some Richard Ward tier Holocaust revisionism. In another post, Cindy Jerry comments,
I was in the Air Force and I'm a combat veteran. We did and said so many stupid things. I'm just glad cell phones weren't around. I will vote for Platner.
I've been a lot of things before, but I've never been a giant cracker.
this is some wild boys will be boys rape culture shit. 21 likes too? No wonder Trump was elected and Roe v. Wade was overturned. We clearly live in a white supremacist hellscape where Richard Ward can run for city council over and over again, but pregnant people can't receive life-saving medical care. In another post, Karen Sullivan commented,
Someone should ask Platner when he is going to have his Nazi tattoo removed.
I'm struggling to understand why he should go through the painful process of removing a tattoo that doesn't symbolize Nazism to him and was never intended as a Nazi tattoo. Should Buddhists shed their religious symbols because they resemble the Nazi swastika? He has a very long history of opposing Nazism and racism, as his Reddit posts show. This is a distraction.
Just to be clear, Graham has already acknowledged, apologized for, and taken action to cover up the tattoo. It's good that he recognizes the seriousness of the tattoo's white nationalist and imperialist history. This in of itself is messed up because while it's definitely a step, that tattoo is still there, just covered up. It's ink on his skin. That's not the same as getting a laser removal. But I digress. While I hold my previously stated reservations against him, it's not like this tattoo is some kind of hoax or conspiracy theory. We heard from Graham himself. The existence of the tattoo is confirmed. He's been very open about it, and he's publicly taken ownership of his mistake. Credit where credit is due. That said, Andy's comparison to Buddhist swastikas is extremely racist and ignorant. Buddhists used the swastika long before the Nazis did. The Nazis culturally appropriated the swastika, much like how they culturally appropriated skinhead culture. Andy claims to be an anti-racist skinhead, yet somehow makes apologetics for a Nazi tattoo. A better way to understand this tattoo is that Graham didn't know the meaning of the symbol when he got it, which is exactly what he said in the Politico article.
When I got back from Afghanistan in 2011, I stayed in the Army for another year. I got out in 2012. Some of the worst comments I made, the things that I think are least defensible, that I wouldn't even try to defend, come from that time.
See, what Andy is doing is a Trumpian tactic, purity testing. And given that Platner owned up to this tattoo and took action to cover it up, it's plainly obvious that Platner doesn't need a purity test. This is one of many classic moments throughout history where liberals dick-suck fascists while pretending to care about change and social justice. Absolutely shameful. Now, for the sake of fairness, I encourage you to read Andy's Substack post about Graham Platner's Reddit posts. Andy doesn't go as far as to defend every little thing Graham has ever said, even calling indefensible remarks inexcusable. But he does use this moment to glaze Platner disproportionately. My issue is with the tattoo, which I believe Andy is foolishly trying to minimize the implications of. Graham's remarks about black people tipping and even blaming rape victims of getting assaulted is not just inexcusable. What I want to focus on is part of Andy's updated remark. I'm not taking it lightly, but there is substantial evidence going back to 2009 that shows he has long been virulently anti-Nazi and anti-racist. Assuming in good faith that Graham really didn't know the implications of the tattoo he got during his time in the military, this is someone who has proven to not be very sharp at detecting Nazi dog whistles and white supremacist signaling. That is very damning. It's one thing to state that you're anti-Nazi. It's another thing to actively be anti-Nazi. Anti-Nazis are educated on where Nazis hide, who they talk to, what tactics they use, what strategies they utilize, and the rhetoric they deploy when trying to creep into the mainstream. Graham Platner has shown us that he has a dull Nazi radar. Anyway, I'm not interested in telling my audience who to vote for, but this apologetic gymnastics act is disgraceful and consistent with the vast history of liberals doing favors for the cause of fascism, even if unintentional. If you still want to vote for Graham Platner after all of this, that's fine. But just like AOC, who voted against a bill that would have stopped arms sales to Israel's genocide in Gaza, if Graham Platner pulls the same line of betrayal if and when he is elected, don't come crying to me, because I would have told you so. You're essentially giving this guy legislative power. Is there anyone else on the left that want to take his place? Or can we hope that he genuinely grows into a truly effective politician who won't betray his voter base like the rest of the squad? Will he resist plutocratic temptations like AIPAC or other MAGA-funded Christian nationalist groups? Many, including Andy and Graham himself, would argue he is a dyed-in-the-wool communist. For our future's sake, I hope they're right. And for crying out loud, I want people to ask themselves, as a mental exercise, what position am I in here? Use critical thinking about the material conditions of your place in coercive class society. Because Graham was in the military-industrial complex. He was using machine guns, not feeding people.
In 2007, I was a machine gun section leader with Kilo Company 3rd Battalion 8th Marines.
Don't rehabilitate Graham Platner's image. Let his words and actions stand for themselves. He owned up to it, but that doesn't cleanse him of having done it in the first place. His future words and actions will speak to us. For now, don't make dumb purity testing posts like this. It's the same vote blue no matter who tactics that alienate people from the Democratic Party. If you're wise, you'd stop now. And before anyone asks, I am not paid by Susan Collins or Janet Mills or any politicians or billionaires or law enforcement. Nada. No monetization. Not even a Patreon to these videos. I will not stand for baseless claims about anyone paying me to make this. Mills is a spineless lib who screwed over marginalized people across Maine throughout her career, while Collins is a dirty plutocrat who helped pass Trump's fugly-ass bill. Both of these things Andy is vividly aware of. Get involved locally. Stop trying to ride the system that's not designed for us. Don't try and vote shame either, because you'll be digging a massive hole for Platner's campaign. Liberals have no principles. Just stop.